is Tamara Kaiser, and today I will be giving my informative speech on making my grandmother's famous red velvet cake. One of my fondest childhood memories was helping my grandmother in the kitchen. She was like a superhero, the way she would glide from the oven to the fridge, preparing dish after dish, with each one tasting just as good as the rest. And she wasn't just an expert in my mind. She was known throughout the community for her cooking, especially her prize-winning red velvet cake. Year after year, she would take home the blue ribbon at the local county fair for her 3 layers of excellence. So I was over the moon when my grandmother decided to share her recipe with me. Baking her recipe always brings me so much joy, which is why today I have chosen to share with you how to make my grandmother's prize-winning red velvet cake. Now, my grandmother always said, the most important ingredient in anything that you make is love. So before we start, if I could get everyone to close your eyes and clear out any negativity and just think of a happy moment in your life. Now we can begin. The first thing we're going to want to do is preheat our oven to 325. I have an electric stove, but my grandmother had a gas oven. So for any of you who also have a gas stove, you may want to preheat your oven to 300 degrees just to prevent any overbaking. Now, the only thing that we want warmer than our hearts today is going to be our ovens. Next, we want to get out all of our ingredients that we'll need for this cake. So for her red velvet, what we're going to need is flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, cocoa, vegetable oil, eggs, vinegar, red food coloring, vanilla, and my grandmother's secret ingredient, black coffee. Pecans are also optional as well. You will also need 2 large bowls, a whisk or a beater, 3 round pans, and cooking spray or shortening to grease your pans. You will also need cream cheese and butter for your icing. Now, I have chosen not to share the exact measurements of my grandmother's cake with you guys, just because then it wouldn't be a secret. But the Elevated Kitchen once stated that the real reason why we use exact amounts of various ingredients when baking is to be precise, so that there is making a small chemical reaction every time we bake. So in our first large bowl, we're going to mix all of our dry ingredients. This includes the flour, baking powder and soda, salt, and cocoa. And in our second large bowl, we're going to combine our wet ingredients, which is sugar, oil, eggs, buttermilk, food coloring, vinegar, and yes, our coffee. Now, surprising, sugar is considered a wet ingredient because its molecular makeup makes it easy to dispense throughout the liquids. I also never knew why we mixed our dry and our wet ingredients separately. I never questioned it, but according to a popular baker and blogger, Jimmer Stafford, we do this to evenly dispute all of our raising agents in our flour and to prevent overmixing. Now, once we have evenly mixed our wet and our dry ingredients, we're going to combine them together. And then we will place even amounts in each of our round greased pans and place in the oven for 40 to 45 minutes. Measuring out your batter allows for even layers, and it definitely helps with decorating in the end. Now, while my cakes are baking, I prepare my cream cheese icing. For this, we're going to cream together cream cheese, cream cheese, butter, powdered sugar, and vanilla. You're going to cream and add more powdered sugar to your desired stiffness and sweetness. I always place mine in the refrigerator while I'm waiting on my cakes. Now, a trick my grandmother taught me to see if your cakes are ready is placing a fork in the center of your cake. If it's clean when removed, your cakes are done. Remove cakes and allow to cool. Once cooled, you can begin icing. Stack one cake on top of another by placing cream cheese icing in between and icing all around the outside. Once your cake is iced, you and your family are more than welcome to enjoy. My goal for today was not to educate my audience on how to make the cake, but to also share the constant love that my grandmother's recipes have brought. In closing, I leave with you a quote from an unknown author. Real cooking is more about following your heart than your recipes. Thank you.